Can a can a defendant be convicted when the criminal conduct has been induced by a federal agent? What's going on, Jackson? How's everything going today? Yep, we're going to get into this today. I want to specifically talk about this case with former Mayor Chokwe Anton Lumumba Jr. and Attorney Jody Owens and former council member Aaron Banks. And that's my question for today. I have a citation of authority on this that I want to share because it is utterly important that we understand what's going on here. The citation of authority today is going to be Sauls versus the United States. Sauls versus the United States, 287 U.S. 435, 1932. That's the citation of authority. Go read that. Now, a prohibition agent at that time approached Soros in trying to get some alcohol or whatever. I'm gonna put it in my own words, and because I understand what happened here, and they repeatedly asked him and bugged him, and he refused. They just bugged him, and he refused. So after a certain period of time, he went on and did it. And then they wanted to hook him up with the jury and throw him in jail. Okay? Now, did that happen in this case? You know what I'm saying? Did it happen in this case? See, the United States Supreme Court they hold the entrapment when the criminal case is being designed by the agent himself and not induced by the and not if and it's not created by the defendant. It's not predisposed by the defendant. You see, that's where it is. In other words, let me say it like this in layman's terms. All right. Forget all the fancy jargon. If they create the hazard, and then and then they come back and hook you up with the jury, want to arrest you and send you, take you to jail, that's when the U.S. Supreme Court going to get involved. But it has to be predisposed by the defendant. It has already got to be or premeditated, or not premeditated, predisposed. It's got to be planned and they have to have a history. That defendant has already got to have a history of it. Let me just put this in layman's terms. You know what I'm saying? That defendant has to have a history of doing this. They had to probably approach that federal agent. And this is the same thing I was saying before. When I was telling you when I was living in New York, how them cops was entrapping a lot of those drug dealers. I said it before in one of my videos, how they, back in the days, they would do these sting operations where they would go with marked money to the drug dealer, and they would give them the marked money, and then the drug dealer would give them the drugs, and then they would come back and bust them, and they would take their money and they would pull out the marked money to prove that and that's entrapment. That's entrapment. They made that an entrapment case. You know what I'm saying? Because You know, because it was a deception. It was a deception, but that drug dealer was already predisposed in my opinion. But somehow they got off. I guess some type of maybe it was a misconduct on that police officer's behalf, and that's the only way they can get off on that technicality, because they was already committing a crime. See, you got to go in there with clean hands. This is what the clean hands doctrine is all about. It's called clean hands. You can't go in there and say, well, I was set up and you're already dirty and guilty. Now, did this happen with Chokwe Antar, Lumumba, Jody Owens, and Aaron Banks? What really happened? What really happened with this case? Let's take a look at it for a minute. There was some type of allegedly there was some type of in the news they said allegedly that there was some developers coming in to do some, I guess was parking or something for the convention center, whatever the case may be, and they induced them with bribes, right? And they took the money, whatever the case may be, but then they came back and they arrested them. It was two others that they was arrested. It was another former council member, and then it was another person who would understand. But thing is that the question is that were they predisposed? Did they already, was this thing already, did they already have a history of doing this? No. Now, let me say this allegedly. I don't know about Chokwe Antar Lumumba, because if the federal government come in and they can prove that he took a bribe, if he allegedly took a bribe from Richard's disposal, that right there going to put him in a predisposition situation. So he's going to be predisposed because he had a history. But the other four, I don't think so. I know so. Oh, I don't think so. I can't. Well, allegedly, I don't know anything about Jody Owens, but I know the other three. I'm not for sure either. Well, I don't know. All of it is alleged. But what I'm saying is, if they had no history, let me just say, I'm gonna put Jody Owens in it too. If all four of them didn't have no history of taking any type of bribes, and it's proven that there was a misconduct on their federal government's behalf, they're gonna walk. All of them, they're gonna walk. All four of them gonna walk. But I don't know about that Chokwe Antar Lumumba situation, because if they prove allegedly that he took a bribe from Richard's disposal, they gonna hook him up with the jury. They gonna hook him up with the. Now you can't come back and say saying no, because you was already predisposed, bro. Because you already took a bribe. So let's talk about it for a minute, Jackson. I'm not finna sit here and gossip about anything. This is not no gossip. I'm not trying to give no conjecture, none of that mess. What ifs and all this and all that. Let's look at the facts. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And it's all on the person who asserts, not the one who denies. They defendants. They're the ones that's denying. They're the ones denying this case. So, no, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling it. So, it remains to be seen. We're going to see what comes of this, depending on what kind of evidence do they have. If they don't have no evidence, they all going to walk. It's over with. It's over with. So, that remains to be seen. Plane landed. But anyway, so, oh, by the way, shout out to the Orchid Bed and Breakfast. Go down there if you gotta go down there to them and see the family. You know what I'm saying? Look here. I want to give a special shout out to them because Man, listen, man, they some hard working folks. You know what I'm saying? And so go down there to the Orchid Bed and Breakfast, and you know what I'm saying, and give them some business. Tell them Raphael Bird sent you. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know, they down there by I'll put up the address in my description. You know, at the end of this video, I'll definitely put up. Oh no, by the way, if you ever in the Jackson State area, go on over there to Dalton Street and holler at Stamp Super Burgers. Man, they got a mean turkey burger. Man, all their food is delish. It's delish. You know, I'm gonna put all the information down in the description, and you can definitely, you know, saying, you know, just give them a shout out, man, and show them some love. You know what I'm saying? They're Stamp Super Burgers in the Orchid Bed and Breakfast. You know, but anyway, so you know, but this whole thing is this whole mess. This thing is a mess. It's a mess. It is a mess, and it's gonna remain to be seen. It's just gonna remain to be seen. You know, I'm gonna have some more information on this water thing because I couldn't catch. I couldn't catch the story this morning on what Judge Wingate was saying about this Jackson water. I'm not for sure. I don't know what the story is, but I'll try to get some information on it tomorrow to share with you. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. The reason why I'm laughing is because I'm laughing at myself. I said I was going to do it, but I missed my bus schedule, and I'm not going to be able to make it to the council today. It is council today, and I'm going to miss the council meeting today, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really didn't want to miss the council meeting today because, like I said, I wanted to go down there and present my case. But I'll do it next month. I will do it next month. I will definitely have information. I have the bus schedule. I will make sure I'll put it on my calendar, as if I'm not tied up at that particular time. Okay, so moreover, we just once again I wanted to say you know, but nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, I just wanted to say, you know, yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying. I want to talk that. Look, I want to touch a little bit about these data centers. You know, I had, I talked to somebody about it, you know, about the data centers, and they said they didn't quite know about because allegedly they're talking about coming in the West Jackson area, and you know that's where black folks live, us black folks, and I'm like, where about? Where's they gonna put a data center in? You know, what area they gonna put that data center at? You see, that's the question. They said, well, it's going to provide jobs. What jobs will it provide? Another question. What jobs will that data center provide? You know? Okay, if it provides jobs, is it going to provide jobs from folks from out of town? Is this going to be safe? Or we're going to have another South Haven issue? We're going to have to take folks to court. We have to take folks to court because it's omitting unhealthy emissions that's unhealthy to the health, to the residents, us. No, all money ain't good money. All money is not good money. I'm telling you, all money is not good money. Just because it's going to give a good tax base, and if it may provide some jobs, and that'll create a tax base for the city, I ain't so sure. And I'm still in question. Where is they gonna put it? I'm like, y'all so quick to put up a ding dong data center. But what's up the Jackson State Stadium? What's up with the Jackson State Stadium? I mean, come on, let's talk about that for a minute. They've been talking about that for years. All of a sudden now, you want to spring up a data center? I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. This right here is just too much. It's just too much for me. It's too much. It's too much. Too much. Too much politics. Too much politics. Too much money ticks too. Money ticks in politics. I call it money ticks because it is. Money ticks come before it's gonna come. It's gonna override the politics. It's money ticks in this. Money ticks in politics. I'm not feeling none of this. I'm not feeling it. I really hope they discuss this data center stuff again this morning about it because it needs to be discussed further. And they need to take a vote on it and get this thing cleared out the air and get it done. We gonna do it or we not. And I don't suggest, I don't recommend we do it. Jackson and Pearl need to be in solidarity. Nah, don't bring that crap here. You already got one potentially coming to Brandon. You got one going out to Clinton at the old package plant. They're building that now. You got one going to Vicksburg. I don't know if there's one. Allegedly, I think there's one coming to Ridgeland, if I'm not mistaken. But I know there's in Canton. Come on, man, come on. No. Be in solidarity about this. Pearl and Jackson need to be in solidarity about this. No data center here. No, we don't want that crap here. All money is not good money. We already got projects going on. We got so-called, I don't know, allegedly we got the Metro Center. I don't know, I hadn't heard anything else about the Metro Center, allegedly. We got the Pearl River expansion project. So, I mean, come on, we don't, nah. We don't need no more. We don't need no more major projects like that coming into the city. Especially where it's potential, it can create a potential health hazard. If it can potentially create a health hazard, no. Why would you take that chance? Why would you take that chance? I don't care if the technology's there. Because they can tell you anything. So, I'm not feeling that. No. No, indeed. You know what I'm saying? No, indeed. And like I said, I hope President Griselle and the whole entire city council, not just him, the whole, because I know this is going to be either in his ward or it's going to be in Vernon Hartley's ward. But I'm talking about the whole city council as a whole. I hope they're all in solidarity about this. Nah, no data centers. We don't need that crap. If you go to Madison or any other town within Mississippi, that folks that got control over their communities and things of that nature, over their towns and stuff, they're gonna tell you now, we don't want that mess up in here. It was a long time for a Walmart over in Yazoo City. We don't want no Walmart up here. No, I don't bring no Walmart here. Because you're gonna mess up the mom and pop spots. You got some places in Texas and in Mississippi, Alabama places where no Walmart can go there. They don't want no Walmart because it messes up the mom and pops. So that same type of control we need to have. Nah, we don't need that here. We don't need that. You got enough data centers. There's not that much technology in the world. You know what I'm saying? No. I'm sorry. You know? So, I mean, but anyway, I just had to land my plane on that because, man, that's I land my plane on all that because that's that's a subject that needs to be really looked at and analyzed. You know what I'm saying? And I hope them cats don't nothing negative come out of that mess. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. I don't want nothing negative coming out of them data centers. Nothing. So, But but yeah. So yeah, I was looking at something about they was talking about they had like a cockfight down was it down somewhere in Mississippi, Cockway, Mississippi. I can't think of the name of the county, but they had a chicken fight and they had all folks coming from all different places in it's crazy. I just kind of want to talk about that for a minute. But I'm gonna land my plane on it. They were talking about they had these cockfights right in this county, and they had all people from different places come in there to these cockfights, whatever, and they ran in and they had a sting operation and they busted these folks, this, that, whatever. Now, according to my understanding, when when they see that you making a certain amount of money on something illegal, yeah, they're gonna come back and bust it. Now, that's what I saw when when I was living in New York. When them guys was out there and they were selling drugs or whatever the case may be, pills or whatever it was, when they know how much money you make. Trust me when I tell you, the government knows how much Federal Reserve notes is being circulated in those areas. And when they get to that certain point, they go in there and they bust it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just telling you straight up. I'm telling you straight up. They run these sting operations, man, them folks, they know what's going on. Them folks know what's going on. And folks is stupid enough to get into this type of crap. You know what I'm saying? They stupid because they won't listen. Young and dumb, old and stupid. They think they're expendable. But when the feds get involved and run these sting operations on your predisposed conduct, guess what? You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Alright. Alright. Plane landed. Plane landed. But yeah, Jackson, like I said, we're gonna see what happens at this meeting, cause I'm gonna try to see. I hope they put that feed on tomorrow, so I can kind of review that video. Hope tonight. I hope they do it tonight. I don't know, but more than likely, they're not. They're not. They're not. But that's it for me. I'm just wanted to come on here and kind of talk about this for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But look. Once again, once again I'm gonna say, yo, go down there to the Orchid Bed and Breakfast. You know what I'm saying? They got a venue and talk to the Thompson family and give them some business. Whether you want to be, you might have some type of wedding ceremony or wedding ceremony or some type of major event. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, some type of ball or whatever the case may be. You might want to have a meeting, some type of meeting or whatever. They'll set it all up for you. You know what I'm saying? The Orchid Bed and Breakfast. I want to kind of, go back and talk about them again and also go over there to Stamp Burgers and talk to that family over there and get you a Stamp Burger. I promise you, you won't regret it. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for me. I am, me, I'm Raphael Bird. I'm just here trying to make I just want to put out the information that needs to be put out. But we will be talking to you tomorrow. I will be having some information on that water, because I really didn't get the information on what Judge Wingate was saying about that water. You probably know, you probably don't, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway, just in case if you missed it like I did. We'll see you tomorrow, and hey, stay up, and most of all, stay encouraged. Talk to you soon.